Daughter, I hope you understand this, but Earth is becoming uninhabitable. So to save you, I must travel beyond the Earth into outer space, through a wormhole, to the deepest parts of the galaxy to try and find us a new home, so that you may be safe. Yes, I am reviewing Interstellar, even though it's been out for nearly a decade, one of the biggest and greatest movies of all time, and I'm only watching it for the first time now! Everybody, shut up! And action! So Christopher Nolan's Interstellar has easily made it into my top 3 films of all time. Is my number 1 film of all time? I don't know. It's up there with Pirates of the Caribbean and The Curse of the Black Pearl, Titanic, and this. Like, honestly, it is one of the greatest films ever made. And I am just at a loss for words at how beautiful the story was. So this movie is about Earth becoming uninhabitable. Food is becoming scarce, there's constantly sandstorms and a bunch of other problems with the planet, and it's becoming unlivable. So NASA, working in secret because no one wants their tax money going towards NASA and outer space travel when they're barely surviving on Earth, is working on a way to send people out into space to try and find Earth a brand new home. Because, I mean, they're trying to make sure the species will continue to thrive. We're smart humans, we're more advanced than all our previous species that came before us, so we're hoping that we'll be able to survive on another planet even if we perish on our own. So that's essentially the story of this movie, and this movie, in every sense of the word, is a love story. It's a love story between a father and a daughter. It's a movie. It's a story about love in just general, especially in the context of the time-space sort of reality that we live in. Honestly, this entire movie gives you a new perspective on what love truly is and how to treat it in a scientific terminology. It is honestly a gorgeous movie. Christopher Nolan is known to make amazing movies, and this movie, I think it's one of his greatest works of all time. The movie is absolutely gorgeous from a visual perspective. Every scene is eye candy, gorgeous. The cinematic CGI, everything about it is just beautiful. I was awestruck by it. The soundtrack, Hans Zimmer, oh my god, it is ear candy. Jeez, like you could just sit in a theater, close your eyes and relax, listen to the soundtracks blasting full volume, and it would be like you're in serenity, like you're in heaven. It is amazing. Every aspect of this movie is gorgeous. The acting performance is gorgeous. Everything, the story, the movie has brilliant storytelling, brilliant pacing. Every aspect of it has you hooked. The entire mystery of what is going on, will they find a new home, the anxiety you feel throughout. There are multiple plot twists throughout this movie, each one having you hooked, some surprising you, others you realize early on in the movie that, oh, this is foreshadowing this point, and oh my god, you know what's gonna happen. Is it gonna be the way you think? Is it the way you're theorizing? Oh yes it is. Oh no it's not. There's so much going on in this movie that you are absolutely hooked from the get-go. Every aspect, you're hooked to the characters, everything they do. You're like, no, please don't do this. Please do this. Yes. No, oh my god, how can you do that? Oh my god, no, please don't let this happen to you. You are throughout this movie, you are going through a wave of emotion. You fall in love with every character you meet. You feel the struggle between the parent-daughter relationship throughout this movie. It is heartbreaking. It is heart-touching. Every aspect of this movie is just gorgeous. You can't take your eyes away from it. It is honestly one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen, and my only regret with this is that I never got the opportunity to watch this in theaters. And while this movie is absolutely immersive, I do not feel it is completely rewatchable, because once it loses its sense of mystery and anxiety that you will feel with the mystery, it kind of loses its touch. But like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it'll still be a beauty to rewatch. Some aspects of it will, but it'll feel a little more tiring than like when it's your first watch of the movie. So I would love to watch this in another 10 years when I've completely forgotten about it and experience it all over for the first time. I think that would be gorgeous, especially if they decide to replay it in theaters for its 25th anniversary, so maybe in another 15 years. But next year I think it might re-release, give it like a week, because it's going to be the 10th anniversary of the film. And honestly, I would kill for the opportunity to rewatch this in theaters, because this movie is absolutely gorgeous, every aspect of it. So in the end, I have to give this movie a 98%. It was gorgeous, it was beautiful, but the only issue I had with it was the length. The length of the movie, it is really long. So by the end, you're like, oh my god, it's about to end. And then like the end, just like, while it's a beautiful ending, it does leave it kind of open-ended and like hard to kind of, it's not open-ended, it's like clear, concise, but like it feels a little hard to understand, and I had to rewatch it like 2-3 times to understand what was happening. But and looking back at it, it kind of felt straightforward, but it took me 2-3 watches to kind of understand what was going on at the end. And I feel like it's because the movie is just really long at like nearly 3 hours, 2 hours 45 minutes. And while I've watched a lot of movies at 3 hours and never felt like tired or like losing it at the end, and I'm just still full in tune with the movie, here, just like, if this movie does require a degree of processing power to understand what's going on and follow through with the movie and understand everything, and like you're undergoing so many emotions that when you reach that final point, you do get a little lost in the movie, and if you look away for a minute, you kind of miss out on a bit, and if you're not paying attention to what people are saying, you will miss out on a lot, because this is a more sciencey movie, and while it's brilliant, at the end I did lose it a little, so I had to rewatch a couple times, and it just kind of lost me at the end. But honestly, other than that, it was a beautiful film. I think if you have more mental fortitude, you might give it 100, because it's just basically a perfect movie. It was a little tiring at the end solely because of the processing power it requires to understand everything sciencey about it, and it's honestly just a beautiful movie. I loved it to every degree. I'm in love with this movie, one of the greatest of all time. Christopher Nolan, once again, a brilliant director, one of the greatest of our generation. I love this movie, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.